Across Arizona's deserts and dusty mining camps, people still tell ghost stories. Today we'll bring 12 of these mysterious tales back to life. Number 1. La Llorona. Along Arizona's quiet rivers and desert creeks, there are stories of a ghostly woman in white who cries through the night. People call her La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. Her legend comes from long ago and has spread across the Southwest, even finding a home in the canyons and waterways of Arizona. Locals say her cries are filled with sorrow, echoing through the still night air like a song of heartbreak. The story tells of a woman who once lived near the water with her 2 children. One day, overwhelmed by sadness or betrayal, she made a terrible decision. She drowned her children and later herself. But when she reached the afterlife, she was told she could not rest until she found them. So now, her spirit is trapped between worlds, wandering rivers and washes, searching for the children she lost. Many people in Arizona say they've heard her sobbing near dry riverbeds, especially when the wind is strong and the night is quiet. They describe her as wearing a long white dress, with her hair hanging loose and her face hidden. If you hear crying near a river and no one is around, some say it's her, and you should walk away quickly. Though her story is tragic, it has been passed down through generations as a warning. Parents used to tell it to keep kids from playing near dangerous waters, but the tale stuck around, and today, even grown-ups admit they've felt chills when they hear something strange near a stream in the dark. Number 2. The Red Ghost. In the late 1800s, Arizona was full of wild stories, but one of the strangest is the tale of the Red Ghost. It began near Eagle Creek, where settlers claimed a huge red-colored creature had stormed through a campsite. It left behind giant hoof prints, and something even more chilling, tangled in the brush, was hair that looked like it came from a camel, and nearby a human skull. People said the beast was taller than any horse and ran faster than anything they'd seen. But what really shocked them was what it carried on its back, a headless man, strapped tightly in a saddle. The Red Ghost became the talk of Arizona. Some said it was a ghost. Others thought it was a monster from the desert. But everyone agreed, whatever it was terrifying. Years later, a farmer finally shot the creature. To everyone's surprise, it was a camel, a leftover from the U.S. Army's short-lived Camel Corps experiment in the desert. But tied to its back were old leather straps and bones. Nobody knew who the man was or how he ended up riding the camel to his doom. Even though the camel was real, many believe the Red Ghost spirit still roams the Arizona desert. Campers and ranchers have claimed to see a strange figure galloping through the night, taller than a horse, red in color, and sometimes with something dark strapped to its back. Whether it's a trick of the light or something more, one thing is certain: the desert keeps its secrets well. Number 3. Slaughterhouse Canyon Ghost. In the dry hills near Kingman, Arizona, there's a canyon with a chilling name, Slaughterhouse Canyon. Long ago, it was known as Luana's Canyon, and the story that lingers there is both heartbreaking and terrifying. The legend tells of a woman and her children who once lived in a small cabin at the bottom of the canyon, waiting for the father to return with food and supplies. but the man never came back. As the days dragged on, the family grew weaker and hungrier. The mother, desperate and slowly losing hope, did everything she could to care for her children. But with no help in sight, starvation took over, and something inside her began to break. What happened next turned a place of sorrow into a story that still haunts Arizona. They say she lost her mind in the hunger and grief. One night, she put on her wedding dress and, in a fit of madness, took the lives of her children. When she realized what she had done, she fell to her knees in the canyon, her cries echoing off the stone walls. Some say she died there, heartbroken and alone, her spirit forever tied to the land. To this day, hikers and campers say they've heard screams in the canyon, especially at night. Others claim they've seen a ghostly figure in white, weeping or wandering barefoot through the dust. The Slaughterhouse Canyon may look quiet in the daylight, but when the sun sets, many believe Luana still cries for the children she lost. Number 4. Phantom Bellboy of Flagstaff. The historic Monte Vista Hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona, has seen all kinds of guests since it opened in the 1920s, but some visitors say one staff member never checked out, a phantom bellboy who still wanders the halls. Dressed in an old-fashioned uniform and cap, he's often seen standing outside room doors, announcing room service, even when no one has called for it. One of the most common stories happens in room 210. Guests have reported hearing a knock, followed by a voice saying, "Room service." But when they open the door, no one is there. Some have even claimed to see the bellboy standing just down the hall, holding a tray or standing motionless, only for him to vanish into thin air. His presence is always polite, but undeniably eerie. Hotel workers over the years have also experienced strange things. Cold spots appear out of nowhere. Lights flicker for no reason, and luggage sometimes shifts without explanation. The bellboy doesn't seem harmful, but he's certainly active and persistent. It's as if he still thinks he's on duty, never taking a break, even long after his time should have ended. What makes this ghost legend so unique is how calm and routine the encounters seem. The bellboy isn't angry or lost. He's just doing what he always did, helping guests. But when night falls and the halls grow quiet, many believe he still walks the upper floors of the Monte Vista, making his rounds forever part of the hotel's old charm and lasting mystery. Number 5. Maddie at the Oreium Theater. In the heart of Phoenix, Arizona, the historic Oreium Theater has entertained generations with its stunning architecture and world-class performances. But behind the curtains and velvet seats lies a gentle ghost story that has fascinated visitors for years. Her name is Maddie, a young girl believed to be around 10 years old, whose spirit has become one of the most well-known in the building. Over the years, staff and guests have reported seeing her in the balcony, seated alone, or skipping through the aisles in an old-fashioned dress. She's often described as cheerful and curious, sometimes even waving at people before vanishing into thin air. Lights flicker, unseen footsteps echo down empty hallways, and soft giggles can sometimes be heard when the theater is quiet. Security footage has captured strange shadows darting across the stage when the building is locked, and some have felt a light tug on their clothes, like a child trying to get their attention. Maddie seems to especially enjoy peeking around corners and appearing in places where no one was expected. Though no one knows her exact story, many believe Maddie once visited the theater long ago and loved it so much that she never wanted to leave. Her presence, while mysterious, adds a unique charm to the Orpheum, making every show feel just a bit more magical, as if someone from another time is still watching and smiling in the dark. Number 6. Lon Magargis Ghost. The Arizona Biltmore Hotel, often called the Jewel of the Desert, has hosted presidents, celebrities, and travelers from all over the world. But among the glamour and history, there's one guest who may never have checked out: Lon Magargis, the cowboy-turned-artist who helped shape the hotel's early charm. His ghost, it's said, still walks the halls. Guests and workers have shared eerie sightings of a tall man in cowboy boots and a wide-brimmed hat appearing near the old tunnel entrances or inside empty corridors. He often vanishes before anyone can speak to him. Some say they've seen him tip his hat politely before fading into the walls, while others report hearing footsteps that stop suddenly with no one in sight. One of the hotel's spookiest places is near the long-closed tunnel system, once used for private comings and goings. It's here where cigar smoke sometimes lingers in the air, and faint laughter echoes when no one else is around. These details match Lon Magargis' reputation. He was known for his bold personality and for sneaking around those same tunnels during the hotel's early days. Whether he's watching over his creation or simply enjoying the place he helped bring to life, Lon's presence adds another layer to the Biltmore's rich story. Visitors today say that if you listen closely in the quiet hours, you just might hear the soft sound of spurs or catch a whiff of cigar smoke, and know that the cowboy artist is still nearby. Number 7. Julia Lowell at the Copper Queen. The Copper Queen Hotel in Bisbee, Arizona, is known not only for its old-time charm, but also for the ghost of its most famous guest, Julia Lowell. Back in the early 1900s, Julia was a young woman who worked as a lady of the evening and spent much of her time in the hotel's upper floor rooms. She eventually fell in love with one of her regular clients, but when he rejected her feelings, her heart was crushed beyond repair. Devastated and alone, Julia is said to have ended her life inside one of the hotel's rooms. But according to many guests and staff, her story didn't end there. Her spirit, filled with longing and sadness, seems to have lingered in the halls she once knew. People have reported seeing her ghost drift near windows, hearing her soft voice whisper, or feeling her quiet presence late at night. She is most often noticed on the second and third floors, especially near rooms 315 and 318. Men, in particular, have said they feel a gentle touch on their shoulders or hear a faint giggle in the dark. Others have heard high heels clicking on the wooden floors or caught a glimpse of a woman in an old-fashioned dress dancing by herself in the moonlight. Though her tale is filled with sorrow, Julia's spirit doesn't seem angry. Instead, she's remembered more like a dream, haunting and romantic. Some say she's still waiting for her lost love to return, while others believe she just wants to be remembered. At the Copper Queen, her memory lingers like perfume in the air, soft and bittersweet. Number 8. Marshal Fred White. In the Wild West town of Tombstone, Arizona, known for shootouts and legends, Marshal Fred White stood out as one of the good ones. He served as the town's first lawman and was respected by outlaws and locals alike. But in October of 1880, while trying to break up a drunken disturbance, Fred was accidentally shot by the cowboy Curly Bill Brocious. Even though witnesses, including Wyatt Earp, testified that the shooting was unintentional, Fred's death left the town stunned. He had kept the peace in a rowdy place, and folks say his ghost never really left. Some have seen the figure of a tall man dressed like an old marshal wandering the empty streets late at night, as if still watching over the town he tried to protect. Visitors often feel a strange calm near the spot where he fell, close to the old city hall. They report hearing slow footsteps behind them, or seeing the shadow of a man tip his hat before fading away. A few even claim to hear the soft jingle of spurs when no one else is around, echoing through Tombstone's dusty silence. Fred White's ghost isn't one of anger or revenge. He remains, it seems, out of duty. In a town built on chaos, he was a symbol of order, and many believe he still walks those streets, quietly guarding the place he once called home. Even in death, Marshal White hasn't stopped looking after Tombstone. Number 9. The Wailing Woman of the Grand Canyon. Along the rim of the Grand Canyon, where the land drops into endless shadow and silence, hikers have reported a ghostly figure known as the Wailing Woman. According to long-standing tales, she appears near the edge of the canyon, wearing a white dress that flutters in the desert wind. Her face is pale, her eyes lost, and her cries echo through the cliffs, especially at dusk. The legend says she was a young mother who lost her entire family in a tragic accident near the canyon's edge. Stricken with grief, she returned to the spot where it happened and never came back. Some say she jumped, others believe she simply disappeared, but locals and visitors claim she's still there, wandering the rocks, mourning what she lost. People have heard sobs drifting through the air when no one else is around. Some have even followed the sounds, only to see her vanish just steps ahead. A few report feeling an overwhelming sadness when standing too close to the edge, as if her sorrow wraps around them. She doesn't seem angry, only lost in pain. The national park warns visitors to be careful near cliffs, but those who know the legend say it's not just about safety, it's about respect. The Wailing Woman is part of the Grand Canyon's quiet mystery, a reminder of how deeply grief can echo in a place already carved by time. And sometimes, late at night, her cries still ride the wind. Number 10, Abby and Noble. The Hotel Vendome in Prescott, Arizona, is a beautiful historic inn, but it holds a tragic and unforgettable secret. In the 1920s, a woman named Abby Beyer lived there with her beloved cat Noble after her husband left under mysterious circumstances. Heartbroken and too ill to work, Abby fell into deep despair. As her condition worsened, she locked herself in room 16 with Noble. Without food or help, both quietly faded away in the place they once called home. Since then, guests and staff have shared eerie stories about the room. Many claim to have seen a quiet woman in an old-fashioned nightgown walking through the halls, gently calling out for her lost cat. Some visitors report hearing soft meows at night, even though no pets are nearby. Others say their things are mysteriously moved or that they've awakened to feel a soft weight, like a cat curling up at the foot of their bed. Room 16 remains one of the most requested rooms at the hotel. Guests who stay there often speak of cold spots, flickering lights, and a peaceful yet unmistakable presence. Some leave out bowls of milk or treats for Noble, hoping to comfort the lingering spirits. It's not fear that fills the room, but rather a deep and quiet sadness, a lingering imprint of love, loss, and loyalty. Today, the Hotel Vendôme honors Abby and Noble with a photo and a small display in their memory. Their story is not one of fright, but of devotion that death could not erase. As Prescott's most well-known ghost story, Abby's gentle spirit reminds us that even in sorrow, love can echo through time, especially in the quiet corners of an old, haunted hotel. Number 11. The Swamper of Big Nose Kate's Saloon. In the heart of Tombstone, Arizona, there's a lively old building known as Big Nose Kate's Saloon, filled with music, laughter, and the whispers of the past. But beneath the wooden floors and cheerful crowd, there's a story that still haunts the bar today. Long ago, a quiet worker known only as the Swamper lived in the saloon's basement. He kept to himself, doing odd jobs, but was rumored to have a secret, a hidden tunnel that led into the silver-rich mines below. The Swamper would disappear at night, returning covered in dust and mystery. Some believed he was smuggling silver and storing it deep in the walls, though no one ever found proof. Then one day, he simply vanished. No goodbye, no trace. Locals say he died down there, guarding his hidden silver with his last breath. The room where he lived is now a museum display, but many say his spirit never left. Visitors and employees have reported strange happenings in the saloon's basement. Some say they feel cold gusts or see shadows moving behind them. Others claim to hear heavy footsteps on the old wooden stairs, even when no one is there. A few guests have even seen a dusty old man in the mirror, only to turn around and find nothing. Today, the legend of the Swamper lives on, tucked between the laughter and songs of Big Nose Kate's. Though the saloon is full of life, there's a feeling that someone else still walks its halls, quietly watching, protecting something long forgotten beneath the floor. Number 12. Charlotte of Fort Huachuca. Deep in the Arizona desert, near the Mexican border, lies Fort Huachuca, a military base with over a century of history, and at least one spirit who refuses to be forgotten. Her name is Charlotte, and she is said to haunt an old house once used as living quarters on the base. The story begins in the late 1800s, when Charlotte, a young woman, lived there with her husband, an army officer stationed at the fort. According to legend, Charlotte's life was filled with sadness. Her husband was often away on duty, and one day he left and never came back. Some say he was killed in battle. Others whisper he abandoned her. Heartbroken and alone, Charlotte reportedly took her own life in the home. From that day on, strange things began to happen in the building. Footsteps echoing in empty rooms, doors creaking open on their own, and a soft voice calling out in the night. Soldiers and families who stayed in the quarters over the years often reported the same thing: the feeling of being watched, the sound of a woman weeping, or seeing a pale figure looking out the window just before dawn. Some even claim Charlotte gently tugged at their blankets while they slept, as if searching for warmth or comfort. Though the house is no longer in use, Charlotte's presence is still whispered about among those stationed at Fort Huachuca. Her story serves as a gentle reminder of the sorrow left behind by war and of a spirit still waiting, perhaps for answers, or maybe just for someone to remember her name. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.